Hello Commanders, welcome to the command table. My name is Matt, and we have multiple attempts for Jormag for you with a couple different strategies. Before we get into that, if you'd please be so kind as to like, subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, be sure to hit that notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. You can also check out the Command Table Discord channel, where we usually have updates over the course of the raid. So what you see here is just the beginning. There's usually improvements to the strategies where you can save even more elixirs and more keys. So feel free to hop on. It's open source to everybody, so join us. We would love to see you there. Alright, so let's show you what we've got cooking. Breather was the first one off the starting line today. He has a pretty stellar build with only one elixir. I did all of my attempts before I saw this, so I'm using my old 2 elixir build, which I'll show you in a second. He's skimming through the power stones real quick. If you need to rewind and pause, I totally understand. But 1 elixir, he's just using accuracy. He's got the banner up here. No, it's not banner. I keep calling it banner, but it's the standard of the ancient defender. He's got Ring of Unity and Spear of Cataclysm with the accuracy elixir. So we're working with burning attacks and earthquake. So you'll notice that without that force resistance elixir, his units will get stunned from time to time, and I think his battle drummer even dies. So he's got resurrect on that, so this may be an era viable build that might not work in the future. So keep that in mind. I'll show you a build from Enifant here in a second that also uses 1 elixir, and then I'll also put a link in the description to Frankenstein's build. He uses 2 elixirs still, but I think he's got druids in there, which help to keep everything topped off. Okay, but you see he's got the heart, so let's go ahead and move on. We've got Enifant with... okay, now Enifant, he shows his power stones in a separate video. We've got that on the command table Discord, so if you want to see what power stones he's using, you can hop on there. But a lot of it is the leech power stone. So even though everything is taking damage, they're able to top themselves off very easily. Just with, I think we're up to Leech 3. So he's probably got Leech 3 on most of those units, and they're able to keep themselves topped off very well. And we'll just wait till he's got the heart locked down, and then we'll move on. Very heavy hits coming from that Celestial Spear, and poof, there he goes. So 2 very viable builds with only 1 elixir, so solid work, guys. Very, very impressive. We'll show you my less impressive build. There we go. There we go. So this was my primary profile, the initial attempt. I didn't change hardly a thing. I think I just might have upgraded to higher ranked power stones from last time. Very dependable build. Not too much to worry about. Again, using leech on pretty much everything just to keep it topped off. The eternal champions do die, but that's just because there's not much for them to chew on before they get to Jormag, and then I think between the earthquake and him pounding, I think the earthquake does the most damage. But anyway, that got it done. So let's move on to... Oh, this is my 3rd profile. We're down to the bomb train. Now I'm going to go over this again, just to be more current than my original training videos for how to do this, the tutorials that I did. But because a lot has changed, we do have some different power stones, but that really doesn't matter so much. The major change is that there's fewer minions on lower star ratings. You'll notice that I'm on SR12. I shift my alts around all the time to help my clan out. So it's this particular profile can handle SR15, but we're working on building some teams right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over... Oh, this is a blip that occurred. And you'll notice that there's no more earth elementals on these lower star ratings. They don't come in until later. Now I had a glitch there where it caught the earth elemental, so you can fix that with a couple of ways: by moving your bombs a little further back, and the warhounds, you want to move those just a little bit further back too. That would give that earth elemental a little more time to walk out of the way and get the clear sailing that you need. Now right now that's not super crucial because there's no earth elemental on the bottom, there's just that one in the middle. So what I did is I just moved all of my bombs from that top row underneath that bottom row to where the top bombs are now the bottom row, and they just sail right by. There's not any problem there. The problem I'm going to run into with that is when I do get to the point where there is an earth elemental on the bottom, I'm going to have to readjust all of those bombs. So let's see. I'll just show you. Like I do this on all my lower ranked profiles. Anything below SR14, I've just been running this same bomb train, and it works like a charm virtually every time. Sometimes you'll get those freak RNG fails. So just real quick, I'll show you this. This is my second lowest profile. Is mostly just a placeholder, but just barely over level 50 on those bombs, and I'm able to two-shot SR13. So I mean, it's doable. You guys can get hearts. You don't have to go crazy and get 15 hearts, because that takes a ton of keys, but at least use all your free keys and get 5 hearts. So let's go over the setup for everybody. We can pick any one of these. It's going to work just fine on all of them. Okay, so here's the deal. This Fire Knight, and I use Fire Knights because if you get freezing attacks or burning attacks, you can just leave them. It's not going to matter which one it is. They're going to work every time, and you get the double protection power stone slots for the first 2. So the key element here for lining these up is you want to take the bottom-most Fire Knight and place it to where it's going to run in between those 2 bottom front shield bearers on the enemy side. So you'll notice that it's kind of almost lined up with the bottom one, but it's kind of right in between that bottom one and the next one up. So this guy right here goes right in between. The warhounds, I've got them placed just slightly back from the center of the pyre. And what that does is these guys will run up and pin the shield bearers. This earth elemental is going to start walking toward those Fire Knights. These warhounds are going to run up and wrap around just in time to initiate the attack from this earth elemental right before these bombs sail past. So that's what you're trying to accomplish on the top. Fire Knight right between those first 2 shield bearers, warhounds just far enough back, no speed changes, and we're not using primal warhorn. If you're using primal warhorn, that's going to affect your speed. You're going to have to adjust these guys further back. But I prefer to use Great Hammer because I think it gives you more damage. And it increases the radius, so even if your bombs detonate a little further back, you can still tag the boss. So that's why I prefer Great Hammer. Anyway, okay, so that's what we're doing on the top. Now down on the bottom, it's going to be harder because of the gravity of this cancel button for the icon. But you want this dire wolf. Okay, the topmost dire wolf, you want that to be in the front. All the other dire wolves, I've got where they're behind and down from that top right dire wolf. You can accomplish that by taking your dire wolves, moving them off of the map, and then moving them back on again until it resets their formation to the point where you've got that dire wolf on the top front. You can use other units for this too, but I've always depended on this because it just seems to work well every time. The bombot, you want to just make sure that it clears at least the top half of these shield bearers. So you can move it a little bit lower, but all you're trying to do is get rid of the top half, 2/3 of those shield bearers. And then these warhounds are going to do the same trick that the warhounds on the top do. They're going to come in behind and wrap around to catch the attention of the other earth elemental that would be right here later on. So when you get to SR14 and 15, sometimes your bombots don't have enough power to take out all the health of the boss, so you switch to the builds that you saw earlier from Breather and Enifant and myself. And also Frankenstein, you can check out his video, link in the description. But when you do have that other earth elemental there, it may be to the point where your bombs don't have enough power to take out the boss anyway, and that's when you may want to switch to a Titan build, even if it costs you some elixirs. Okay, so these guys, you'll notice they're a little ahead of the center of that pyre, and that's because you would need them to go just a little bit further, because the earth elemental that would be here is going to be a little further back. So that's why those guys are there. I don't really see any need to change it, just because I'm able to get the job done even though there's no earth elemental there. I'll just leave them there until I get high enough to where it is. Usually I use 4 sets of plague bearers, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. I try to put slow on them to make sure that they're moving as slow as possible, and that delays the assassins getting to the pyre for as long as possible. Since I don't have high enough levels on 4 groups of plague bearers, I use the thorn guards, so that once the assassins are done with the plague bearers, they'll run to the thorn guards and kill themselves. Double protection on the thorn guards, and they already move slow enough, you don't need slow on them. Okay, so that should cover pretty much all of the different elements. Sometimes you'll get a freak shot from the arcane archers, but it's very rare. You don't even really have to worry about them, because they'll usually be shooting at these units that are on the front. The only time you really have to be super concerned about that is if you've got wounded, but again, that's only going to matter when you're on the really high star ratings, because that bumps the buff up so much that your units would die really fast unless they've got a lot of protection, or they've got last stand, which is a new power stone, or if you've got immunity, that's also very helpful. You just want to have these 2 frontline units last for as long as possible. Okay, so that pretty much covers it. Let's just go ahead and let it run again so you can see how all the different mechanics work. We'll get rid of that. So yeah, there goes, all the different elements working exactly as they should, and there's the heart. So that should bring you up to speed on at least my setup for the bomb train. Again, it is not my original idea. There are literally dozens of people that contributed to make that a reality. I can't even remember all the names of all the people involved, so I'm not even going to try, but thank you to everybody who helped to sort that out. Helps everybody get a lot of 1 key, 1 kill. So no elixirs too. So yeah, check out our TCT Discord channel for any updates to the raid, and thank you to Breather, Enifant, and Frankenstein. So we also have a special channel on the TCT Discord for Frankie's Tats. He's a tattoo artist, and he does some incredible work, so he's been sharing that with us, so we appreciate that. As props to you, man. That's some wicked talent. Anyway, thanks for watching, and again, the biggest thing you can do is subscribe. Please do that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Once we do that, we will be monetized. I'm not going to be bashful about sharing that. That is a goal of mine. I do want to get there, because I'm going to redirect anything that I earn from the channel back to the channel. So that includes, having a dedicated website, trying to get a wiki going. We'll see what we can do about that. But we're going to funnel it all right back in. So the best thing that you can do to support the channel right now is subscribe. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all your support, and we will have more content for you in the near future.